What's up, my dudes? My name is Sister Turley, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about MX Simulator versus real-life motocross. I'm going to be kind of talking about how they're similar and all that kind of stuff because I feel like a lot of people underestimate MX Simulator and how much it really is like riding a real-life dirt bike. They just don't get it, you know, they don't truly understand it. So when you get to the point where you really get to a skill level where you realize that it is almost identical to a real-life dirt bike, it's actually quite freaky. I mean, it'll make you think, like, how did anybody even make this game? How is this even possible? It's literally the impossible game. Like, I don't know any other way to explain it. I wish I could somehow visually, like next level, you know, sort of like in a dream project it to you of how it feels to me at my skill level and all that kind of stuff so you could really understand it. But everything about it is like a real dirt bike. I mean, you cannot sit there and look at MX Simulator like a motocross game. Don't call this a motocross game, dude. This is a real-life dirt bike in a virtual world. Like, get your shit straight, dog. It's totally different than just a dirt bike game. A lot of people, they just don't understand that. They'll never get it. And what's sad about it is about 90% of the people that do play the game don't ever even play it long enough to really understand the feeling of getting fast enough and getting good enough at the game and getting enough movement on the bike to where you really get the feeling like you're on a real dirt bike. You know, they just hop on there, play it for a couple weeks or a couple months, and the bike feels super stiff, and they never get to the point where it's really fun, where you can start doing like crazy quad jumps and super fat thug nasty whips backwards, like all that kind of stuff. You know, most people just never get to that point. They don't play the game enough to get to that point. So, but for me, okay, and I've raced real life dirt bikes for a while. I would say at my skill level, I mean, in real life, I've rode on arena cross tracks, whoop sections, finish line jumps, rhythm sections on arena cross, raced on arena cross tracks. I've never actually raced on a supercross track in real life, like a legit supercross track. But, you know, obviously a lot of nationals tracks, hit, you know, 100+ foot jumps, 150 foot tabletops, all that kind of stuff in real life, right? Learned how to whip pretty decently, not like Axel Hodges or anything like that, but I was able to get her whipped over pretty good one direction. That's what's funny about it. I couldn't whip the other direction at all because you get so used to whipping that one direction, but that was kind of the skill I was in real life, like somewhere in that B range. You know, I'm not sitting here acting like I'm some kind of super A rider, or, you know, everybody kind of loses their shit and gets all cocky on how good they are in real life at motocross. I don't know why they do that. Like, even with MX Simulator and real life, it's just such a, like, everybody thinks they're the best ever at it. And in reality, if you're not winning the tippity top of the pro level races, you ain't shit, dog. Like, if you ain't beating Eli Tomac in real life, you ain't shit, dog. Don't act like you're something amazing when you haven't even raced in a pro race in real life. And I ain't talking about A class. I'm talking about AMA, Supercross, or National Pro race. That's what I'm talking about. Same way with MX Simulator. You know, if you haven't raced in an actual, you know, North America EMF or RF pro race and actually, like, made it to main events and finished top 10 or a top 5 even, you ain't shit, dog. Like, if you haven't done that, you ain't shit. So, you know, a lot of people, they just get so, like, caught up in that. But either way, that's like a whole different video there. For me, even at my real life skill level, whenever I first started playing MX Simulator, it felt like the first time on a real dirt bike. Identical to that. I mean, as close as you could possibly humanly get it in a video game. Like I'm saying, I didn't even think this kind of thing was possible. Like, back when I first got into Reflex, I mean, I didn't even think this sort of game could even be made. Like, period. I didn't even think you could even do it. So, it's just so crazy. The level of realism, like, truthfully, man, I know I love MX Simulator and it's my game, but let me tell you, bro, it's a next level of feeling on the bike. It truthfully is. And if everyone could really understand that, you would see a whole different sort of opinion on MX Simulator, but that's the thing about it. Everybody just doesn't get to that point. So then it becomes like that. But yeah, basically, whenever I first got into MX Simulator, when anyone first gets into it, it feels like a real life dirt bike. You know how it's kind of weird, like you can barely even hold the bike up. You turn really slow. You try to jump something, it feels all crazy, like it's all you can do just to hold the bike up around a corner, and then slowly but surely, day after day of putting time in, and week after weeks of putting time in, and months after months of putting time in, you just get a mind muscle memory for it, and you learn it, and you get better and better and better and better. And every like kind of skill progression I made in real life is exactly how it felt in MX Simulator. You know, it was like how fast I was getting good at it and all that kind of stuff, how much I was riding on MX Simulators, about how much you'd have to ride in real life to get good at that. It's the same kind of comparison, except MX Simulator, obviously you're not going to be breaking real life bones because you're in a video game. So it's a little bit different like that, but and you can play it all day, every day. You don't have to have like good weather conditions because you're in a virtual world, you know, and you can sit down and play it any seconds, like you got any track in the world in your backyard, basically, on MX Simulator. So, but as far as how long it takes you to get good at it, you could definitely compare it to real life riding. You seriously could, and that's how crazy it, you know, the skill gap really is on the game. So, but what the craziest thing about it is, right? I'm telling you how realistic it feels, like in me being like a B class rider in real life and all that. And it, you know, my level worked up in MX Simulator felt exactly like that. But I've went even further in MX Simulator than my real life riding skill. But it continues to feel even more real the deeper you go. So this is going to sound crazy to some people, but I'm telling you, MX Simulator, it's like it's given me the route and the ability to feel like I'm an actual real life pro in real life, and how that would feel, but in a video game. You know, just like I was telling you, it was super realistic. Like at a lower skill level on MX Simulator, like it is in real life. I can directly compare it to that because I've raced in real life a lot. But even going past my real life skill at the game, it just continues to amplify that even more. Once you actually get on a supercross track in MX Simulator, it feels like what I would think a real life supercross track would feel like, even though I've never even rode on one. You see what I'm saying? And once I get to a crazy skill level, how long it took me to learn how to whip and wheelie over whoops and all that kind of crazy stuff in MX Simulator, and how hard it and how long it took me to learn how to do stoppies for a long distance, all that kind of stuff is exactly how I would think it would be in real life. Exactly. To an absolute T. Either way, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like I've been able to achieve something on a game, and the feeling like something I might not ever be able to experience in real life. Like the skill level I am in MX Simulator, I'll probably never achieve that in real life riding motocross and stuff. Most of us never will. So it like gives you the outlet to be able to truly experience that, and that's what's crazy about it. But every single feeling on the bike, like every time you'll come off a kicker, feels like a real life kicker. Every time you come up short on something, feels like coming up short on real life. You know, if you come up short really, really hard on something, it'll just pop you off the bike, kind of like it would in real life. If you rack your nutsack on a 85-foot triple, like you're probably just going to fall off of that bike, even if it doesn't bounce you off of it. So it's kind of the same difference there, in the realistic way that the bike will swap around when you wreck, and the realistic way that you have to get on the throttle and the back wheel spin, and how it pulls the bike back around. You can like steer the bike with the throttle, all of that kind of stuff, dude. It is just, it's unreal, man. You know, if you've really rode dirt bikes in real life, you will understand what I'm talking about, but you have to play the game. You know, you have to really get to a certain skill level to fully understand even what I'm saying. So most people just don't get it because they're not to that skill level. You know, they're more at like a C or a B class rider, or more of like an amateur rider in real life in MX Simulator. So they don't even realize what you can actually, the levels you can actually get to in it. You know, you can do anything in this game depending on how much time you want to put into it. You can be anything. You can be James Stewart level. You can be more than that. You can be Villapoto consistency and like super crazy. You can be Dungy consistency. You can be Villapoto like consistency mixed with speed. You know, you create your own style just like you do in real life. It's just crazy, man. The nerves you get from racing in a pro race on this game and how long, it took you to get to that skill level, and, you can't make one little mistake or you're going to lose the race, and all the pressure elements of it feel super similar to real-life racing. That's something I can directly compare it to, just even the online racing when you first get into it. It's actually really exciting in this game to get a win on that and trying to beat other people and getting super competitive and how bad you want it, and the everyday consistently playing it and just noticing improvements just from simply doing that, just like you do in real life. All of that kind of stuff is there, just like it is in real life. Every bit of it. It's real life motocross in a virtual world minus broken bones. That's what it is. I mean, and people, they think it's just like a video game, or they think it's like not all that accurate of a simulator or whatever. They get all these different little opinions about MX Simulator. It's like, dude, you could not make the feeling on the bike better. It's impossible. You can't do it. You can't make it better than perfect. So in MX Simulator's physics are perfect. The way that bike actually feels, how that back wheel turns around, the error physics and how you whip over stuff, all that about it is perfect. 100% teetotally, absolutely, no question about it. It is perfect. I guarantee you, if somehow you could get Eli Tomac to play this game and get really, really good at it, he would agree with me. I promise you he would, or any of those guys, right? Like if he get to his real life skill level in MX Simulator, he would agree it's like just damn near about identical to the way that feels. I'm telling you, he would say that. I promise you he would, man. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's the game of a lifetime, dude. Like, you think it's just the game of the year, game of the century. Dog, this shit's like legendary status. Like, you ain't never gonna touch this, ever. People over here acting like the game's gonna die. Please, motherfuckers. This game ain't never gonna die. It will never die. Even if they didn't even have pro racing, period. Even if they took that totally out, there was none of it, there would still be quite a few people playing this game. And you're still going to get new people playing this game every single day. Either way, dude, MX Simulator, it's just something that you can't get this experience anywhere else. And I don't think you'll ever get it anywhere else. I really don't. Now, can MX Simulator use some improvements? Could it eventually get to the point where you actually have handlebars as a controller and like VR capabilities, all that crap eventually, like way down in the future, and it make it more realistic? Yes. But as far as just the simplistic nature of it and the type of video game it is, it's like next level, to the umph level. It seriously is. I mean, just, oh man, how precise you got to be on the jump faces, like how you do in real life. The leaning aspects of it, everything about it. I mean, it's just, it's full circle, dude. I don't know. Like, whoops in this game are super hard to learn, just like they are in real life. It's like a task and a half just for people to learn how to go through whoops in this game. Then you get to the point where you can hit any whoop section 5th gear wide open after playing the game for 2 or 3 years. If you really, like, stick to it and grind hard on it, So it's just all in how much you want to play it, man. There's no limit to the skill. The skill gap in this game is unlimited. That you can always get faster, always get better. Then if you think you've mastered that, then they come out with a new dyno, the real-life dyno replication that's got a totally different power curve to it. And then you learn that. And it's like progressing just like real-life motocross is. The power of the bike's getting faster, being able to hit bigger lines, tracks are advancing, all that kind of stuff is happening in this game, man. Like, people just don't get it. They just don't get it. I feel like most people, they really don't want this real of a motocross game. Like, you see what I'm saying? Most of them just really don't want to put this much time into a video game. They just simply don't want to do it. But that doesn't mean it's not a good game, man. Like, I don't know. It's one of those things, it's like, you're going to hit so many walls in this game like you do in real life motocross. So many walls of the skill, thinking there's no more you can do, you can't get any faster, and then you get kind of bored of it, tired of it. But like, if you just keep going at it, you can seriously get to some legendary status speed in this game if you work hard enough at it. You can actually separate yourself from other people, and that it gives you such a rewarding feeling in that sense because you know how long it took you to get good. You know how hard it is to run 8 laps on a supercross track in a row with 0 mistakes. You know, all that little stuff. Now, how hard it is to hit a certain line on a track or whatever the case may be. You know, just everything about it. Everything about it. It's as close to real life motocross as you could get a video game. I mean, I'll come out and say it right now. As far as the way the bike actually feels, like the brakes, throttle control, back wheel spin, jump physics coming off the face, hitting kickers, every aspect to it, the way it feels like when you're flying in the air, the actual, you know, that's one big thing about it is that you'll notice right away when you start playing this game, when you jump off of something and you get airborne, it actually feels like you're in air in real life. You know, kind of how like the physics of going up in the air and then like the speed you get in the trajectory you get in real life and how you kind of come back down slowly. Let's see if I can get this in third person, kind of just show this off in this view. But like what's so weird is you'll be watching gameplay of this game, especially in this free camera mode like this, and you'll look at it and it'll look like you're actually looking at a real dirt bike on a real live track. That's what was so crazy when I first saw this game on YouTube, like way back in 2014, 13, right around that time. You know, I was seeing gameplay. I was like, what is this? You know, what's going on with this game? And I was like, is that like real life motocross? Is somebody riding a real dirt bike? No. Is that a video game? What is that? You know, you can actually get confused, like if you're seeing a real dirt bike in real life or if you're seeing a video game. That's how realistic the bike looks. But it doesn't just look that way, man. It feels that way. That's the crazy thing about it. You know, it's just like, I just don't know how to explain it, dude. There's just no real way to even explain it to you. But trust me, man, from somebody that has gotten quite a bit of real life riding experience and going all the way pretty much just about as deep as you can into MXM, just take my word for it, bro. Like, it's as real as you can get a motocross game. And at the end of the day, that's really all there is to it, man. It's as real of a simulator as you can possibly get for motocross. You can't get it any more real than MX Simulator. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.